Canberra side especially, it's got a few ex-Queenslanders in the side. Les Morrissey, Sam Bacco from up north Queensland way. Gary Spears has had a lot of first-grade experience at Balmain and Canberra. Darryl Brayman, Phil Sigsworth at Canterbury. So it was a pretty strong. Both sides are very strong in that game.
That's exactly what's happened in reserve grade. We're in extra time here in the match between Canberra and Canterbury. Canberra scored a few minutes ago after the scores were 8-all at full time. We've got now just over 5 minutes left. Here's the replay of Gary Wilson's try just 2 minutes ago in the corner, which broke the deadlock and put Canberra ahead 12-8. Wilson, the winger, going over in that corner there. The try was unconverted, and Canberra, coached by a former Balmain player, Alan McMahon, lead 12-8, and that could well be the full-time score with something like 5 minutes to go. As you can see, the conditions very heavy out in the middle there. The ground was heavily watered during the week, and on top of that, there's been a lot of rain, which has really dampened it up, and it's been very, very soggy and slippery for the duration of this afternoon's entertainment. And at the moment, the Canterbury side working it back inside the Canberra half. They've still got a chance to get themselves level here as that kick goes down towards the man who scored, Gary Wilson, bringing it back for his team down towards the quarter line. So it's really just a matter now of Canberra holding out in this match in conditions which are clearly very awkward to score points in. Even the few times they've tried to position for field goals, they haven't been able to do it, and as you can see, the handling is another big worry with two very weary teams out there on the field. Well, Paul Vaughton, the sort of conditions that Manly in the past didn't seem to enjoy, but this year they had a few good games in the wet. What about these conditions today?
Well, in these type of conditions, you need a strong kicking game to keep the opposition side in their own quarter or half and prey on their mistakes, which is what Canterbury have done here. They've got the ball and they've got the last chance to probably score.
It's pretty desperate for Canterbury here. They've got just 4 minutes left in the game, and they're taking it up just inside the quarter with Gould, Doyle, Mark Bugden, Darryl Brayman and Jim Lease in that pack. Some big names there. Wide of the ruck, Lease flicks it back, and it's popped up. And that's the little halfback, Jason Alchin, schoolboy player a year or so ago, just inside the quarter. Canterbury attacking. They're down by 4 points. That's Gould setting it up. Wide of the ruck. Lost by another one of their replacements. Mark Sargent. Dunning fell on it, but we're going to have another scrum. Is this similar to the pattern we're going to see a lot this afternoon in the main game, you think, Paul?
I'd say you'll see quite a deal of drop ball with some of the Balmain defence, especially the way they hit. They'll be forcing the ball out in tackles, I'd say.
Former Manly player down there with the ball, Michael Blake, playing it back for Canberra, anxiously keeping an eye on the clock as they work it out of the danger zone down there. That's Peter Davis, the fullback, with it. 3 minutes left. Canberra 12, Canterbury 8. Just 20 metres from their line. Keeping it safe, tucking it under an arm to move it out. And down injured Grant Ellis, another player who's had a lot of first-grade experience in Canberra and previously with the Newtown side. Well, Gary Cook, we haven't had conditions like this for a match for some time now. Everyone's saying this is going to have a levelling effect, and Paul suggested that the Balmain forwards are going to go a lot better. What about Parramatta's pack without Peter Wynn again today and Peter Ford in there? Are they a lot weaker than Balmain up front?
I believe they are. They're certainly a much lighter pack, and when you look at the two packs side by side, Balmain certainly is a much more formidable pack. But I think if they can hold Balmain, and that's probably a very big if they can hold them and keep them out, I think the Parramatta have still got the players to take care of them out in the back line. Now, while the middle's fairly wet and muddy, there's still a lot of firm ground around in this Sydney Cricket Ground area, but I guess it's the football itself which gets so heavy and sometimes very difficult to grip that might tell the tale in the long run. But Peter Wynn's the mission. Certainly they'll miss him, but I think it's the right thing. Peter Wynn hasn't played a lot of football. That shoulder of his must be terribly suspect if he's considered certain to play about a week ago and then he's had to pull out. So Parramatta, as they often do, don't risk players no matter how good they are.
That's a fine tackle out there on the replacement, Sandy Campbell, by Les Morrissey. There goes Jeff Robertson. familiar figure with those long locks of his. Pushed into the mud. Time slipping by. Gould trying to set it up for Canterbury. Just over 2 minutes left. Canberra leading 12-8. In the second period of extra time, it was 8-all at full time. That's Sargent with the ball for Canterbury. I think both sides have used all their replacements. So it could be an historic victory here for the Canberra side, as Phil Gould puts in the short kick, but it goes straight to Keith Meskel, another Canberra replacement out there. And that's Michael Blake, 5'8" for Canberra, just working it back upfield. Gary Britt, the hooker, to play it. Blake again, Michael Blake up there, 1.5 minutes to go. Sam Backo had a tremendous game here for Canberra. One crashing run down the touchline just before full time, very nearly brought a try. Now the sparing kick ahead from Callanan, right down towards the corner. Picked up by Peter Davis, and Davis has got it safely under control. We're down to a minute left in the game. That's Gary Britt again taking it out. So Canterbury have got to get the ball in the next few seconds if they are to turn this result around. Michael Blake again, not doing anything silly, just hanging on to possession. Very safe play at the moment by Canberra, but that ball very, very slippery. I think he'd like to put it under his jumper. Keep complete control of it. What's the clock say now? 30 seconds to go. Canberra 12, Canterbury 8. Up the middle again. It's Robert Dunning with it. A handover. Canterbury's last chance. Gould firing it out 20 metres from the line. 15 seconds left. They've got to put a kick in somewhere here. They've lost it. Canberra have got it back, and that's the ball game, I'd reckon. 6 seconds to go. The crowd will count it out, and there are a lot of Canberra supporters here. Gary Britt's got the ball. The hoot is gone, and that's it. After extra time, Alan McMahon's Canberra side has got up to defeat Canterbury and go on to the final next Sunday. That's a very gutsy effort by the Canberra side. Mind you, they were leading 8-2. Canterbury scored to level it at 8-all just before full time. About 10 minutes before full time, and then in 20 minutes of extra time, it was Gary Wilson, the Canberra winger, who scored to break the deadlock. And so some early excitement here for the fans who've seen Canberra win that match after Parramatta won the under-23s, defeating Balmain 18-10. Parramatta 18, Balmain 10 in under-23s. Sam Backo, one of the strong men in that Canberra lineup. And Paul Vaughton, a number of those players you would have turned out against over the season. Some good players in those two reserve grade packs.
There sure is. Canberra side especially, it's got a few ex-Queenslanders in the side. Les Morrissey, Sam Backo from up North Queensland way. Gary Spears has had a lot of first grade experience at Balmain and Canberra. Darryl Broman, Phil Sigsworth at Canterbury. So it was a pretty strong. Both sides are very strong in that game.
And another good result for rugby league, with Canberra going ahead to a final. That's the best achievement they've had in any of the grades since they came into the competition. And hats off to Alan McMahon there, the former Balmain player who the Canberra side this season. On the competition table, Canberra finished second behind St George, who won the minor premiership by 9 points. And tomorrow St George, who of course are in all three grades there, they play Parramatta in the major semi-final.